You too. What's good, your boy? Everything one on water is everything my familiar. I got for you guys a crazy Void Hunter build that gives your fire team infinite special and heavy ammo, man. If I like this video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. Look, I got some crazy thing coming up for y'all. Got some Halloween stuff with Destiny 2 coming up for y'all. So yeah, again, we appreciate y'all. We hit 400 subscribers. I appreciate everybody that subscribed, bro. To 500 then 1,000. We're gonna go crazy. But yeah, let's get straight into this video. Now for the most important exotic, we got the Aeon or Ion Swift. This is a very, very underrated exotic. But there's 3 perks that go into this exotic that makes it unique. There's the Sect of Force, which basically stuns mini boss and gives your allies a burst of grenade and melee energy. We have Sect of Insight, which basically, when using a finisher elite, gives you special ammo. Then using it on a mini boss gives you your allies heavy ammo. Then we also have Sect of Vigor, which basically when your ally dies, you gain class ability. When you resurrect them, you gain full class ability. The one we're going to be using, obviously in the title, we're going to be using the Sect of Insight. Now this basically is, like I just said, when you use a finisher on an elite enemy, so yellow bar, you get special ammo for your team. Also, the special ammo, you won't see it. It's not visible for you, obviously, because it's for your fire team. So when you do a finisher on a mini boss or elite, which is like a yellow bar, you will not see it. So just keep that in mind. You're probably like, oh, is it working? I don't see any heavy or I don't see any special. No, it does not show for you, but it does show for your fire team. So if you do have friends, test it out and see when you do like a finisher on the yellow bar or you do a finisher on the champion, see if the heavy ammo drops for them or see if the special ammo drops for them. So that's the really unique ability for this exotic. It's really, really good. Like, this is perfect to use, just having one person with Void, like exactly as this build, that just goes around when you weaken a champion to where it's finisher level, finisher health bar. You tell him, hey, yo, we need heavy ammo, we need special. You do a finisher, you automatically get that. So that's really cool. This is a really, really good support exotic. So yeah, we're gonna go into our other exotic weapon. Now for this exotic weapon, we're gonna be using the Lemonarch. Now the Lemonarch just goes perfect with this because this whole build is just based on finishers, and you're gonna see when we talk about the class and the abilities and fragments. But this build is just a really good build, and add on the Lemonarch, which after final blows you gain health back, and it does like a tick, like a poison tick too, when you get consecutive headshots. So that's really good. This is a very, very, very good exotic weapon out of the bows. I don't really use it too much out of the bows because it's not as fun compared to the other ones. But this is really good compared with this build. You're gonna be doing finishers. You're gonna be making enemies volatile with the perks we have for our build, and then we also gonna be doing crazy damage with Lemonarch, which is because bows got a little buff. So this is a really, really good exotic. But now we're gonna get into the fragments, the aspects, and the abilities of this build. Let's get it. Okay, for our super, we're gonna be using Mobius Quiver. Now, honestly, this is just more for like damage, and you still get the weaken and the suppression and the voluntary rounds. You could go Dreadfall, but if you want to go more damage with it, with having weakened enemies, it's like a minute longer, but you get your super extremely fast. I recommend Mobius Quiver. For our abilities, we got Gambler's Dodge, because you want to be able to weaken enemies with Snare Bomb. For our grenades, we're using Vortex grenades because I feel like this is the best grenade out of all of this for hunters that are Void. Now for our aspects, we're going to be using Vanishing Step. Dodging makes you invisible. Again, because of this build, we're going to be using a lot of finishers, so you want to be able to go invisible, especially if you're doing harder content, because you're going to be the person that's going to be supportive. You're going to give the group ammo by doing finishers. So you want to be able to take down the higher end enemies, that's the mini bosses, the yellow bar enemies. You want to be able to do that, and when they're low in health, you want to make sure you're able to finishing them, going invisible, and then hitting them with a finisher, which is really good. Also, we're going to be using stylish Executioner. Defeating a weakened or suppressed voluntary target grants you invisibility. This is really good for one of our fragments, which we're going to get into in a little bit, and because of Vanishing Step, you're going to be able to go invisible. So this whole build is invisible, finishing, damage. Now for our fragments, we got Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target while your shields are depleted grants you temper. Void over shield. This is really good because there's going to be a lot of aspects when you're up and close and personal doing a finisher, and defeating that target will automatically give you an overshield. So when you're close in vicinities with a lot of enemies and you're doing the finisher, you can still take damage while being in that animation. So being able to take down the enemy and having the overshield after they're defeated is really good. Also, Echo of Citation. Finish your final blows creates a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. Defeating volatile tanks creates a void breach. Now void breach, right, if you guys see the dimensional rupture teaming with a void energy when packed up, void breaches grants class ability energy. And then volatile rounds, you just get an extremely buff to your void weapons, so your Luminar is going to be extremely buffed when you, and the whole around the enemies is going to be voluntary rounds too, so that's really good. So not only that, we also got Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenade grants voluntary rounds to your void weapons. As you guys can see, we are using 95, almost maxed out discipline. So you want to be able to throw your grenade is one of your most powerful abilities, if not your most powerful ability. Throwing that and creating voluntary rounds for your Lemonard and for any other weapon that's void, you're going to do crazy amount of damage. You want to be able to get your nade as much as possible with this build because you want to get enemies voluntary as much as possible. Your finisher is also going to be doing that. So now you have two ways. So you're going to finisher is going to spread voluntary rounds to other enemies after you defeat them. And you have your grenade that's also going to, after you defeat the enemy, give you voluntary rounds. So that's really good to your void weapons too. And then final but not least, we got the Echo of Obscurity. Finish your final blows grants invisibility. Again, you want to be able to, your main focus is damage, invisibility, finisher. You know, so that's what you're going to do. So now finisher gives you, not only does the finisher gives you invisibility, it gives you voluntary rounds. And if you're weak, gives you an overshield. So that's really good. Really good. Like, this is a very underrated build. But yeah, this is for abilities, aspects, and fragments. Now I'm going to give you guys my artifacts, stats, and mods. Now going into your artifacts, these are your main points. I'm one away from being maxed out. I'm probably going to put that into Elemental Embrace. But you want to make sure you have Rapid Fire Ranger, and you want to have Maestro right here, dealing elemental damage increases matching weapon damage. And then you also just copy all of this. All this want to be copied. Honestly, yeah, especially this right here, you want to copy all of this. These two are important. These three actually are going to be really important for you to use, so that's really good. Now going into our weapons, I'm using the Riptide. You can really use whatever you want to. Riptide to me is one of the best legendary weapons in the game. Obviously I'm using the Lemonarch, which is really good. Also, any damage you've done, any final blows with the Lemonarch gives you healing, so that's really good. Probably bumps you up to full health, which is broken, especially with this build. For my heavy, I'm also using Retrofit Escapade with 4 times the charm and Golden Tricon. Now Golden Tricon is really good perk for this build. And then you guys can see from my stats, I'm using maxed out resilience in any content. Maxed out resilience is mandatory. I'm also going I almost have maxed out discipline, and I have 70 intelligence. So this is the build you want to go with. Yes, you want to have more mobility, but because of your mods, you're gonna get your mobility a lot quicker. You know, in PvE, mobility matters depending on which build you have. But honest truth, most of the time you're gonna get orbs of power that's gonna reduce the cooldown for. So you're gonna have your mobility, and you have so many other ways to go invisible too, which is pretty good. So you don't really have to worry about having low mobility for this build. But as you guys can see, these are really good stats in my opinion for this build. This build goes really crazy. And then for the mods, simple things you guys wanna go ahead, screenshot all this. This is really important for your cloak. I have explosive finishing. Now, finishing restores grenades. Collecting an overpower causes you to gain 1 temporary armor charge. Finisher restores grenades. Again, Finisher restores your grenade. And you know what your grenade does? Give your weapons volatile rounds after defeating an enemy with your grenade. So that's really, because you're going to be doing finishing after finishing after finishing. And then you're going to get your grenade. You're going to have volatile rounds. So basically, you're going to have to go Falcons with this build. So yeah, that's really good. But screenshot all of this. But yeah, that's it for this build, man. If you guys like this type of video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. It's your way everything one on one is everything my familiar. And I'm out. You see the drip though? I look like a dinosaur, don't I? Tough, ain't it? The new skins for the little Halloween things is fire. I ain't gonna lie, but it's your boy everything water. I'm out.